Good morning, everyone. We're
Hello.
back, and we are here for another Q&A day, and it's beautiful sunshine. Actually, it's completely raining.
Pouring rain.
Terrible.
It's terrible hair day.
We have a lot of questions. If there's anything that you guys want to know about, go ahead and give a shout out, give a call.
Disclaimer.
But we're not going to give any cures today. In fact, don't mention your name if you become cured. This is not meant to diagnose or replace your medical care. Just check with your doctor before applying any of this information. It's just food for thought and entertainment. That's it. Okay, so that being said, I'm really excited because we have this summit coming up next weekend.
Next weekend.
Now, Karen, what's your top 3 biggest fears of this summit coming up?
My top 3 biggest fears would be the AV doesn't work. That would be number
one. What about if the power
one,
goes off?
Steve.
That would be bad.
It's a Gaylord. I think they probably have power backup. I would say if the AV didn't work, including Wi-Fi. If
you forget to dress.
If I forget all my clothes.
You had a nightmare, like in high school, you went to school without clothes, and you're like,
yeah.
I'll be able to let you know. That's the problem.
Okay, thanks. I think really that's the only thing I can think of.
How about violent stage collapse, injuring both of you?
Thanks, Steve. That didn't come to mind, Steve.
Yeah, we didn't think about that until you brought that up.
That's under the AV category, so far you're to blame for anything bad.
Well, my fear would be if
We're talking about fear.
Chipped a tooth or something.
That would be bad. Or if you
time,
got a really big zit on the end of your nose the day before.
One time I was at a restaurant,
yeah, and
I was eating a salad, and it had a rock in it, and obviously I bit right into it and I cracked my tooth. It chipped it. There's the problem with when you're missing a tooth, your IQ goes down. Why is that? It's just like as soon as you smile, people are going to look at you like,
he's
not too
missing
smart.
A tooth.
So that would be
that's
probably
why dentists do really well because everyone really cares about their. But that's not going to happen. We're not going to chip any teeth.
Well,
We're not going to have any major accidents.
Let's go right to Shauna. I kind of got distracted a little bit.
A little bit.
Shauna, are you there from Indiana? You had a question.
Yes,
Interesting question. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, Dr. Berg. Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes. I take your supplements, eat twice a day, do prolonged fasting 2-3 days every month. I'm very skinny. I've been doing keto for 7 months and things were okay. But about a month ago, I started having bruising and stabbing pain in my eyes, back of my knees and calves, and also achy pain and sometimes tingling sensation in my fingers and toes. I'm trying to figure out the cause and how to handle it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. What jumps out for that one right in my face is that you need to check your B12. B12 deficiency, you can actually you could store B12 for up to a year. So, but like if you're doing keto, you're doing probably meats and things like that, so you're getting B12. But you may have a problem with something called the intrinsic factor in your stomach that could be blocking it. That's one possibility. So I would check B12. Usually to absorb B12, you need hydrochloric acid in your stomach so you can activate that helper intrinsic factor to help transport the B12. But one of the big symptoms of B12 deficiencies is tingling, pain in the different parts of the body, peripheral neuropathies, and it could also be a problem with other B vitamins as well, like folic acid, for example. You may have a defect in your genes. You should check that with your folic acid to see if that's a problem. But that sounds like it's a B vitamin issue. The other thing that you could have, check for hypercalcemia. Too much calcium can cause the same symptoms as well. So, as well as bruising. So check on that. And that could come from maybe excessive amounts of vitamin D without the K2. Okay, so thanks for calling. We're going to go to Wes from Connecticut. Are you there?
Hey, Dr. Berg. I'm a big fan of your videos.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Would thyroid medication break a fast?
Yeah, good question. No, it will not break your fast at all. There's no calories in it. It doesn't have carbohydrates. It'll probably speed up your metabolism, But you're going to find, because you are doing, do you have Hashimoto's?
I'm not sure what that is. I know that mine was slow.
Okay. The reason I ask is because 90 to 97% of all hypothyroid conditions are Hashimoto's, and that's a specialized test that you have to measure for antibodies. And the reason I'm bringing that up is that it's a different protocol, and it's not usually like you're taking the Synthroid, whatever medication you're taking, and you still don't see change. So that could be an issue. But I don't think you have to worry about it breaking the fast at all. I think doing the fast will help your immune system if it is Hashimoto's, which is the most common type of hypothyroidism, and that alone will decrease the problems with that, or the symptoms or the complications with your condition. But thanks, Wes, for calling. Very good question. Let's go to Denise from Kentucky. Are you there, Denise?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, I have just one quick little question.
Yeah.
I do keto. I do intermittent fasting. I do great. And if I go out and I have just a cocktail, and I try to stay with something that's a no carb, like a tequila or vodka, within like 3 minutes of having alcohol, it's like the carb monster awakens inside of me, and I just go nuts for sweets.
Yeah.
Why?
Are you doing you're doing a low carb alcoholic beverage, but it still has alcohol, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Let me explain that. So there's two types of things that people try. They do what's called a low carb, very strong alcohol, ethanol. They're drinking that, or they'll do like a wine that's low carb, whatever. But here's the problem: you have the sugar in the alcohol, but then you have the alcohol itself. And that's what creates a similar effect to fructose. So alcohol in general can create a blood sugar reaction because it causes damage to the liver, and it can create some residual blood sugar problems. In addition to that, the stress in the liver, which is really the hub of your blood sugars and all sorts of things. So unfortunately, I probably would omit the alcohol and realize that your body does not do well on it. Sorry to tell you that, but that's why. All right, Karen, what do we got?
Okay, well, first we have to say hi to Mary Jo, because Mary Jo's watching.
Mary Jo? Which
Mary
one?
Jo Wallace.
Oh, Mary Jo, how you doing?
She's doing great.
Good.
And Perry Crow is watching, and she's an exhibitor, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, great. So, and everybody else is watching from all over the world. So here's one. Does keto decrease the oxygen demand required when you're exercising?
Well, no. Actually, ketones by itself have a unique benefit of decreasing CO2, carbon dioxide, which automatically increase your oxygen. So it doesn't increase the demand. It actually allows you to breathe better.
It says it's decrease. Does it decrease your demand for oxygen?
Yes.
So you're more efficient?
Yes, that's correct. That's a correct statement.
It does decrease.
Yes, it does.
Okay, good. So on Facebook, Charlene says, what could she do to tone and flatten a C-section pooch? So she's had surgery.
I think the best thing is basically to do emphasize more on the intermittent fasting, periodic prolonged fasting, since what you're doing when you're doing that is you're eliminating like damaged protein and damaged collagen from the body. There's really nothing else that I know that will break down that other than autophagy, and of course highly nutrient type like trace minerals will help in that breakdown, but not to the degree that intermittent fasting will help. So for some people you're going to have to do like a lot longer, maybe 72 hours or even longer type fasting frequently to see those effects, because it's an anti-aging thing. But you know what autophagy is, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I
good.
know.
Good.
Do you know?
Autophagy is it's like a recycling phenomena that occurs in the cells. So your body is...
It's a self-cleaning oven.
Yeah, I used to give that analogy, but then I thought, an oven? It's more like a recycling machine than a self-cleaning oven.
Okay.
Because what happens
Oh,
is,
because you're making new cells.
yeah, it's
Ovens
like
don't make new.
you're taking
ovens.
these damaged proteins, which are messing everything up, and you're turning them into brand spanking new amino acids so you can make new tissue, and you're also using those as fuel. But I just did a video on this. I don't think I released it, but the reason we developed that is simply because we had to figure out a way to counter this thing called starvation. So it's been around for a very, very long time in microorganisms and animals, and so our bodies have adapted to starvation very well to survive. So when we starve, all of a sudden the body starts using stuff that we don't need for fuel and for raw materials, so we don't need to eat as much, so we can live longer. But there's some really cool things that happen when that happens, like you actually kind of renew things, repair things. So, yeah.
Okay.
I'll go on, but no.
I know. That's okay. Okay, so Michael on Facebook, he knows someone, he has a friend who has mono,
Yeah.
battling that whole deal. What would be the best support for that?
Well,
Not cure, just support.
the most important thing is to take a lot of vitamin D, higher dosages. Start off like 20,000, maybe 30,000 IUs of vitamin D, and also zinc, because that's going to help push this virus back in remission. Mono normally affects the tonsils back there, and it can be very, very painful. There's a great technique. You could probably find this on my videos called the stress webinar, and it doesn't get rid of a virus, but it majorly helps the sore throats that occur from mono, especially. And there's a little device, looks like this right here, and you actually put it in the back of your neck, and you lie back, and it works on these points in the back of your neck. It gives people a lot of relief with any type of congestion or soreness in the upper part of the throat. And I've had people over the years who had mono do this and just gave them a lot of relief, and they get over it a little bit faster. So watch that video.
Okay, good.
All right, Karen, we're going to go to Michelle
Good.
from California. You had a
Okay.
question about the best way to get rid of antibiotics in your system. Are you there?
Yes. Hi, Dr. Berg and Karen. It's an honor to speak with you. You guys have changed my life. I've been on keto since March 2018, and your videos
Wow.
have helped me and my family extremely. But my quick question is, I wanted to know the best and quickest way to get rid of an antibiotic. I was on an antibiotic 2 months ago, had extreme diarrhea, but I also gained 6 pounds. And I can't seem to get the weight off. It's just kind of stuck
Yeah.
there, and I was wondering how long it takes for the antibiotic to actually get out of your system, and the best way to maybe clean it out. I don't know.
Right. Well, good question. I think what you're dealing with is, I don't think it's the antibiotic is still in there. I think it's just the destruction of the microbes that you need to build up, because it wipes out the microbes, the good guys and the bad guys, and now you have to just build those things back up to counter the diarrhea that's happening, because the body is just, you don't have the microbes to kind of eat those fibers up and bulk things up. One thing that I would do for the diarrhea right off the start is a really good little remedy. You take blackberries and some plain whole milk kefir, blend it up, and have that a couple days in a row. Okay, so that will help maybe slow down the diarrhea. The other thing about diarrhea is you lose a lot of minerals and trace minerals, so you better start taking some of those. But then also find a very good probiotic to start taking immediately. I do have one. I'm not biased, but I think I have one of the best ones. It's a liquid probiotic. You start taking that and start building up the flora that's been damaged from the antibiotics. Okay? Good question. And then we're going to go to LaDonna from Oregon. Are you there?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
My question is, I have been keto for a little over a year now, doing keto IF and extended fast.
Yeah?
My ketones have finally started to come up a little bit, but my blood sugar is still elevated all of the time.
Okay.
And I'm supposedly non-diabetic.
You're supposedly what?
I'm supposed to not be diabetic, according
really?
to my A1C.
Oh, okay.
But I have over 100 blood sugars almost all the time, even when I'm extended fasting.
Okay. Well, it's funny that you're asking about this question because one of the videos I did yesterday covers this exact point, and that is, can you reverse insulin resistance and how long does it take? Because that's really what's going on between the high blood sugar, especially if you're doing keto. Insulin resistance is behind prediabetes, diabetes, and it comes a lot earlier than diabetes. So just because you're not a diabetic, just because you have good A1C doesn't mean you don't still have insulin resistance. Insulin resistance sometimes takes months, even up to a year or longer to correct, especially if the blood sugars are high. I think you can do some things to speed it up. Number one, you're probably doing my version of the keto plan, which is the healthy keto plan. I'm assuming you're doing that. I'm assuming you're doing intermittent fasting. What you have to do at this point to speed things up is lower the carbs, maybe down to 10 grams, and increase the fasting. So if you're at 2 meals a day, go to 1 meal a day. If you're at 1 meal a day, go to 1 meal every other day. Now, unless you're extremely skinny, and that's not going to be an issue, that's going to be a problem. So, and then there's also nutrients that you can take to actually speed things up too, like zinc, chromium, vitamin D. Those are 3 really important ones to help speed things up, and then just give it more time. If you exercise, you can burn off some of this extra sugar as well. But if your blood sugars are just a little bit over 100, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just give it more time and do those things. You're not in a danger state, but just keep refining the program and stay tuned for my video that I'll be releasing either tomorrow or the next day. Thanks for calling. All right, Karen.
Okay, Tracy, we will do more food videos. I think I've promised that in the past.
You have promised that in the past. So can we do one next week? Maybe all week? Can we do one every day?
No, but maybe the holiday is coming. We can get Jared to the house and I'll make something.
Okay.
Something new. Okay,
all
good.
Right.
So, wow, lots of really good questions. Okay, I think it's pronounced Ludmila from YouTube. Can she eat a little bit of honey with the keto diet?
No.
Okay. All right, next. Why, this gal is asking, why does she have hot flashes if she's healthy, young, I think she said 52 or 55, on keto and IF, and supplements for over 2 years? She's healthy, she's doing the do, why does she still have hot flashes? Yes.
Yeah, so what's happening is that's one of the symptoms of menopause in certain women. All this means is that you could have, it's either going to be excessively low progesterone or estrogen. Now, I did release a video recently about what to do if you have low estrogen, and there's a herb from Thailand that you can take. Watch that video. That I think will help you in the meantime as you start to, do things to improve things even more. But in reality, the adrenal glands are supposed to back up the ovaries, and that's supposed to produce the same hormones as the ovaries. But the problem is that I'm not saying you have adrenal fatigue, but it just may not be functioning 100% yet. So what I would do in the meantime as you improve the adrenals is I would definitely watch that video, get that herb, take it, and it should knock out the hot flashes pretty fast. And it's a lot better than the soy isoflavonoid type thing. Now, on a rare occasion, if that still doesn't work, then I would get a progesterone cream. Okay?
Okay, good. Now that brings up another question that I meant to ask last time. Someone asked, if your adrenals are burned out, not functioning, can they ever start working again, or is that it? It's like basta.
Well, the adrenals are burnt out. That's pretty much it. You can't really do anything. I'm being very sarcastic. Now, you can always do something for your adrenals. The adrenal gland is very rugged and tough. It can survive major stress, and it can bounce back. But you have to give it a break, because what destroys the adrenal is this chronic stress situation. So you have shocks to the body like injury and trauma and surgery, but you also have losses, like a loss of a loved one could really destroy the adrenal, even more than a physical trauma. But then you have also probably the biggest stress is you're kind of in a situation where you're, it's like a chronic problem, and like you're in a job that you just can't get out of and you're stuck there for the next 5 years, or you're in a marriage that you're stuck in, which is very stressful. And that you just have to do something to improve that to some degree to eventually reduce that stress, because or else the adrenals are just going to kind of stay there. So it's really a combination of environment and then physically working on that as well.
Good answer. Okay, I have more. So I think it's Leva. She's on keto, taking electrolytes, but still getting leg cramps.
Well, what I would do is, the thing about my electrolytes is that it's really good for a potassium and magnesium supplement, but it's not a salt substitute. So if it's hot and it's summer, like it is now, and you're sweating, and you take the electrolytes, you better be taking salt, sea salt, because if you take a lot of potassium and magnesium without the salt, it can actually create a salt deficiency, and that could be creating a leg cramp. So add a little sea salt, and you're going to be good to go. And talking about sea salt, I'm going to...
That also helps with fatigue, right?
Yeah, muscle
Headaches, fatigue.
Mm-hmm. So we have this cool little product I want to show you. We're going to be releasing it. We don't have any in stock, but it's our new line of keto desserts. Stay tuned. It's pretty tasty. I have this one as well. If you could see, I don't know if you could see this. Can you put that camera on there? Okay. Right there. So there's a couple different flavors. This one is a peanut butter cup, and this one is pecan pie. So been working quite a long time to go back and forth, and I really think we nailed it as far as the flavor. And it's it's one of those things where I wanted to find something healthy, yet you'll give you that fat after the meal, so you have this dessert, so you're not feeling deprived. So stay tuned for more on that. But it's going to take probably 3 weeks before I can get it in stock. So anyway, yeah, what were we going to say?
Oh, and a lot of fat bombs and things like that are super smooth and creamy and kind of taste like that. These are really crunchy. So It's not just like, I've got some tasty fat, but it's just really, really packed with crunch.
Yes, and it has medium chain triglycerides, which basically will give your brain more energy, natural flavors. We're using allulose, which is I like that one as far as better than erythritol. And it also has stevia. It does have a little bit of erythritol in here, but just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And the reason why we put that is because of it has it's 0 on the glycemic index. Plus it has little sea salt, so it'll actually give you that nice little satiety.
What does that mean?
It'll make you satisfied. It'll actually give you satiety, like this.
Satiated?
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Lisa on Facebook, she asked, how long do you do keto and IF? How long?
Well, just until you lose the weight, and then you can go back to your old ways. It's a lifelong thing. It's forever. Now, why?
Lisa, I didn't want to tell you that.
It's a healthy.
I was going to let him tell you that.
It's a really healthy thing to do long term. It's not. I don't even think it's a diet. It's just you're just eating the right foods, and you're eating the right frequency of foods.
Right. Now, when you're at your ideal weight and metabolically you're doing really well, your body is stronger, and if you attend a dinner or something and you do eat something, your body's able to handle it better.
You can afford to go off it a little bit.
Right. But in terms of just permanently ignoring keto or intermittent fasting and starting to snack all day again, you're just going to end up in the same position. And very quickly, like that gal said who has a cocktail and all of a sudden she's craving. It's usually what happens to people. They go off and the next morning they're jonesing.
I will guarantee that all the people that are coming to the summit, which is quite a few people, and most of you watching that have been watching for a while, you already know this. But for the new people that are on this program, there's one point that I want to bring up, and that's and I'll give you an example. Like I had a patient who came in, and they said, "Dr. Berg, your program doesn't work. I tried it for 2 weeks. I lost the weight, but then the weight came back." I said, "Are you still doing the program?" He goes, "No." So I think sometimes people have this idea that they can lose the weight and then kind of go into different phases and maintain the weight, like they corrected their metabolism. No.
Right.
Right.
Right. And there's even programs out there right now, other kinds of weight loss programs. Now, you know, this isn't a weight loss program. This is a grow your body healthy program, and then you see weight loss. But there are programs out there that are saying, you know, reset your metabolism, as if, you know, you do the program and then you're good to go, which is why you see in almost every single program out there, almost every single one, it's they lose it and then the weight comes back.
Should I do a video on that?
Do a video on that. You needed one more idea today.
Okay, good. I got
there's your
the
idea.
video.
Okay.
I need to go to Marina. She's been
Okay.
waiting patiently. She's from New York. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great.
Good to really talk to you. Okay, so my husband has been getting an Insomnia. To know if there's any.
Okay. So this is what she wanted to know is that my husband has some anxiety and insomnia, and what can be done. Now, I'm assuming that he's on keto. If he's not, get on keto and intermittent fasting, because that normally handles anxiety fast, and it also helps you with insomnia. But if you're on keto and IF and you still have anxiety or insomnia, there's two things to do. It just means you need more B1. You need nutritional yeast. Okay, start taking that. That's the best thing for anxiety and feeling that stress. Like if you're feeling like a buildup of nervous tension and you take some nutritional yeast, that B in there will just like, within minutes, it just relaxes you. So that's one thing. And then with insomnia, the best thing I know for that would be more vitamin D. That should actually put you in a nice, restful sleep. You'll be sleeping like a baby. Of course, babies are all night up crying all night. Okay, try that.
Lucy's not up crying all night.
No, she's not.
Hey, and guess what? At the summit, Lucy's going to be there.
That's right, she is. So
So
you can
for
meet
any
her.
of you that saw Dr. Berg's video holding his grandbaby,
No one actually even listened to the video. I did a malic acid. They weren't listening. They just kind
They
of like,
watched the
did you say
video.
something? I just did a
Baby.
kind of a silly video. I was holding the baby, and then I was doing the video on malic acid. Then I did the next week, I did one on holding the dog,
holding
Charlie.
Charlie.
Which he
Charlie
basically
is
sat there.
not going to be at
No,
this summit.
he's not coming. Listen, ask me what's my latest book that I'm reading.
What is your latest book that you're reading?
Oh, funny you ask, Karen. It's called Survival of the Fattest.
Okay.
This is one of my most favorite books. It's amazing, amazing. It's by Stephen Canane. I'd probably chop that up. But this, if you're interested in nutrition, this guy, he's a physiologist, very, very smart guy, goes into massive research on the nutrition of a growing brain and why these brains have gotten bigger over eons, and what type of the nutrients do they need to prevent having a lower IQ. Did you realize that if you're deficient, Karen, in iodine and iron, your IQ could be down by 15 points?
I did not know that, and
That
it's
can
possible
explain-
because I have a little less iron than I should
Explain
have.
a lot. But like
What?
I'm just being sarcastic. Now, like if you have kids, for example, and you would like them to just be smarter, just make sure they take the
Be
trace minerals.
smarter.
Yeah, and definitely have, if you're a guy, make sure your spouse takes trace minerals during the pregnancy. Make sure the iodine and iron are so important. You know what? That just gives me another idea.
Okay.
I'm going to do a video on the reverse of that, because if you have too much iron and too much iodine, it can be very toxic. I'm going to talk about that point, because sometimes when people think, oh yeah, if a little is good, a lot more is even better. That is not true when you get
That's
into trace
me.
minerals.
I'm one of those people.
Oh, iron.
A
could-
little is good.
No, iron.
Triple
could,
the dose.
Iron
Yeah.
could be a huge problem because our
Don't
body
do
can't
that.
get rid of it. But anyway, this book, very expensive, but it's worth it. I mean, I'm just like blown away on the amount of, I can't even put it down. It's just so interesting. And I'll be talking about a lot of the stuff in there.
Which
the
is
summit.
better, that book or Guyton's Physiology?
Well, this one is better right now. Until next week.
Until next week. Until the next book of the week. Good, good. People did ask last week what book you were reading. So good.
So we have Kalila from
Okay.
Maryland.
Marilyn.
Right down the street.
Merlin.
Are you there?
I know. Hi, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi.
So I'm calling.
Are you coming to the
I love
summit?
my workout. Wait, I missed the summit. When is it?
It's next weekend.
Can I get tickets? Is it still late? I
go
missed that
online.
part.
It's not too late. It's in Maryland, National Harbor.
Oh, awesome.
I'm giving you a hard time. Go ahead with your
my husband will
question.
be in town.
Okay, good.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so I love working out, and I just started back on keto because I failed, and now I'm back on, and I'm winning again. And I've been working out a lot, and intermittent fasting. But when I wake up in the morning, my fasting glucose is at 98, and I'm like, what is wrong? I'm not losing weight, but maybe I'm gaining muscle. I don't know. Help, please.
Okay, so that's not terribly high. I mean, at some point, it's going to come down. But if you're 98, okay, it's a little bit high. It's not too far. It just means you have insulin resistance. I'm going to release a video in the next 2 days on this one specific topic, which the name of it would be How to Reverse Insulin Resistance. And you should just watch it, because if you apply that, you can speed up this process, and because it actually can keep your sugars a little high. It just means that it's going to take a little bit longer. So definitely come to the summit as well. We'll talk more about that. Thanks for your call. Let's go to Alex from Florida. Alex, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, I love listening to you, by the way. You're awesome, dude.
Thank you.
I just wanted to know what, like on the notes that your screener did, what can I go to that I can take? I already ordered your vitamin B for my mom, actually, and for me. She's 84, but she can't sleep and stuff like that. So I want like a 1, 2, 3 kind of step thing. I'm very structured. So I can take your stuff because your credibility is awesome. So I want to take all your products, but in like brushing the teeth kind of behavior every day for the rest of my life. What would be a regimen, or do you have that package already set up?
You talk about like supplements?
Yeah, supplements. Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of things you can.
Or do I have to have a problem to take them, or can I just take them anyway?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I'll just give you an example of. I'll just give you one example of what I'm doing. That, I take my supplements at certain times depending on what's going on, but I don't have a lot of issues. But there's 3 that I do take on a constant basis that are like a really good combination. One, every morning I will take my wheatgrass juice powder. The reason for that is that you got a massive amount of nutrition in a small space. So you're doing this concentrated juice of wheatgrass, which is high quality with all the trace minerals and everything. But that has the B12. But B12 is not in wheatgrass. It's in the microbes. So it's like virtually raw, but it's in a dehydrated form. So I'll take a scoop of that, sometimes 2, mix it with a big thing of water, and then I will also at the same time take my electrolyte powder. So I have additional trace minerals, and I have the main minerals that I need, potassium, things like that. And then I'll take my mitochondria energy, and that just gives me the high-level B vitamins that I need because I'm going to work out, and also it's in a blend of it's a food-based B vitamin. One of the vitamins in there, which is the B1, because I have several different kinds, was very, very high quality, very expensive. I mean, it was like $8,000 per kilogram for that B vitamin, and that's in that product, so I did not go cheap. But if you compare that with other B vitamins out there, they're like $9 a kilogram. So that's the synthetic version. We have the real thing. So when you take that product, you're getting something really high quality. It's great for a workout. So that combination of mitochondrial energy, wheatgrass, and electrolyte, I like those as kind of a no-brainer. I take those every morning. You don't have to have a problem to take them. Yeah, that's what I do. Thanks for your call. All right, what do we got, Karen?
Okay, good. First, I want to say Chris Martin watches every single week.
Oh, great. Thanks, Chris.
So thanks, Chris, for
Appreciate
coming out
that.
every week. We do too. Okay, good. So if someone who's had a thyroidectomy, can they take sea kelp?
Well, they should. But here's the thing. With sea kelp, that's one of those things that it works. It's a wonderful thing, but you don't want to be taking massive, massive amounts of it. All you need is a little bit. Trace minerals are needed in small amounts, not large amounts. They can be toxic, even sea kelp. So take a little bit.
What's a little bit?
Maybe 1 or 2 capsules.
A day?
Yeah, in the morning. Most thyroid conditions that are slow, so like a hypo, are actually, it's Hashimoto's, it's autoimmune, like 90% of them. So it's quite interesting that when you have a hypothyroid, you think, oh, I need more iodine, but not necessarily, because many times when you have Hashimoto's, you're not deficient in iodine, because it's an autoimmune thing. And what happens, the body senses low iodine because the whole mechanism is broke, and it starts producing more hormone from the brain, and it starts making the thyroid get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's why you get a goiter. It's not from a dietary deficiency. So you can actually even worsen if you take too much. That being said, the key mineral that you do need is selenium. That's the one that helps convert, and then actually works with iodine together. So you got to, you know what? I'm going to do a video on that.
Do a video on that.
I'm going to do a video on that.
Sounds a little complicated, but for people who have that. And there was someone that brought up Hashimoto's. Can they do keto intermittent fasting with Hashimoto's?
You absolutely need to do it, and I'm going to tell you why in the video that I'm going to do.
Teaser.
Yeah, and because the blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to say anything. Okay. I'm going to save that for later.
Good. So can someone who is post-bariatric surgery take bile salts? These are some good questions this week. These aren't general. These are really specific.
Yeah, they need to take bile salts unless they have diarrhea, because bile salts they give a laxative effect, and so you don't want to create more of a laxative effect. If you have constipation, definitely take bile salts. But if you had the bariatric surgery, you're going to have problems with digesting a lot of things, including the fats, the fat-soluble vitamins, and you're going to have a problem producing enough bile. So you need to take some of that. Don't need much. Just take 1 after a meal, and definitely trace minerals. And you're going to have to enhance it, because you're not going to be able to get the nutrients just from food, because you don't have the capacity. There's things that are bypassed. There's things that are missing. So, yeah.
Okay, good. And I have one more here. I think it's Lisa Utley on Facebook. She says, I've been doing keto and IF for a few months. I've lost 10 pounds but have stalled. Been doing 20-hour fasts. Wondering if I need to keep within a certain calorie range or what to do. She's 10 pounds from her goal weight. The toughest place to be, in my opinion. 10 pounds away. Can you feel the passion in my voice?
Yes, I
Lisa.
can, Karen. Yes, I can.
I know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
It's so funny that I have a video. I already did that yesterday on this whole calorie thing, how many calories you need on keto. So I will be releasing that.
To get those last 10 pounds.
Yeah. The thing is that you go online and you have these what's called calculators for how many calorie calculators, okay? And they're all kind of bogus, because there's no way you're going to be able to figure out how many calories you need with some type of calculation of your body fat and your body fat mass index and your height and the exercise. That's just too limited, because you have so many other things. You have the how the food affects the fat burning, how much fat you're doing versus your metabolism, because if you're doing a little too much fat, which probably she might be doing too much fat, you're going to show ketosis, but the ketosis is coming from the dietary fat, not your own. So in this situation, if you're doing the long fast, which is great, and you still don't lose that last 10 pounds, you need to cut down your fats. Like don't snack on fats, don't add extra fats, don't go low fat, but just eat the food that comes with the fat normally, but don't add any more.
Unless it's a salad, then you have dressing. Or
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm talking about adding a fat bomb or fats, because what's going to happen is like it's just going to show up as ketones, and you're like, oh, I'm losing weight. No, you're actually just burning ketones, which is good, but you're not going to lose weight.
Okay,
Okay, good.
fair enough.
Can we go to Greg from Florida?
I wish you would.
Greg, you had a question about moringa, right?
Yeah, I've been reading a lot about it, and it's supposedly really good for you. It's high in everything. So I planted like 5 or 6 trees. I just want to know if it's real or is that just like a sales thing?
Yeah.
And I have one more question to ask you too, Doc. And hi, Karen.
Hi. Moringa, I never heard of that. What is that?
Well, he's going to ask a second question.
No, he wants you to answer that one first.
I thought you were going to answer on that one. Okay. The second one is I add liquid colloidal trace minerals to my ACV.
Yeah?
Am I doing all right with that? Or
Yeah.
should I? Okay.
Totally fine.
Okay, then
Yep.
let's go to moringa.
Okay, moringa is one of those plants that it's a tree actually, and there's these leaves that have high levels of nutrients. It's probably one of the highest nutrient type plants, out of anywhere. It's probably not but it's high up on the food chain as far as nutrients. Moringa, yeah.
Never heard of it.
And they have a supplement. Normally, I think it grows in Africa, if I'm not mistaken, but people take it in a powder. There's a lot of nutrition. It has the vitamins and minerals. It's great. So you can try it and see if it helps you.
So would you eat the leaves or what?
It's in a powder.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he's planting the trees, so.
Well, he was going to have to dry it out. Maybe he can, I don't know, put it in a blender or something. I don't know.
Food dehydrator.
Yeah, you can try it out.
Try that. That's interesting.
Here's the thing about that. When you consume plants, and I recommend that people do plants. Half of my diet is vegetables, right? But the other thing that you have to realize that when you have the animal products, especially like fish and meats and things like that, and eggs and even some cheese, you get a lot more bioavailable nutrition. So the iron, for example, and some of the vitamins like vitamin A are more available to you, especially even the omega-3 fatty acids. The plant-based nutrients like vitamin A, the iron, they have to be kind of converted, and a lot of times we don't convert a lot of it. So even though there's a lot of, it might say that this plant has massive amounts of vitamin A, 35,000 international units, but that's actually a pre-vitamin A. It's not the one that actually works. So you might convert a very small percentage of it, maybe 5% if you're lucky. So I like the idea of plants, especially for certain things like minerals, like potassium, magnesium, and for vitamin C, big time, and folate. But I think a combination would be really a lot better. Good question.
Interesting, yeah.
All right, Karen. I think you could ask a question at this point.
Okay, I just want to know, it's 11:43.
Yeah.
Do you know where? No. What's coming up later in the show? Just.
What's coming up?
Yeah.
I think I forgot something. Did I forget something?
Well, you're always telling me, hey, later in the show we're going to do this or that, or
on the only day
that
I did not have anything, you
I
asked me
remember.
this question. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to come up with something
okay.
really entertaining later in the show. There's not much more. It's.
We have 15 minutes.
We have 15 minutes, so let's ask some questions. Okay.
I already told people
This
about
is
my book that
interesting.
I'm reading.
Yeah, well, what about the book that you wrote? What are those new people here? They should know about that.
Yeah, this book right here. This is a good one to get right here.
Just hold it up a little so they can
Keto
actually.
Plan.
It's hard to see
Yeah.
where.
There we go. Okay?
Okay, good.
All right, Karen.
Okay, that tells you everything you need to know. Okay, good. So, Lori is having trouble. She says that her stomach is so bloated all the time.
Okay. Want me to answer that?
Yeah, well, there's more to the question, but I touched it and it just fast forwarded to.
Why don't you?
Anyway, so her stomach is bloated all the time. Oh, here we go. Working out 6 days a week on keto and IF and EF. What's that?
I don't know.
Extra special fasting. Oh, egg fasting? Is that?
No.
We don't know anything.
Well, if she said EMF, that would be
EF.
electromagnetic frequency, but you wouldn't be on that. I don't know.
Is
Sometimes
it too
when people
much
give me initials,
sodium
it's
or
like
EF. It might be an egg fast. We don't promote or talk about egg fast, but
let me just answer the question.
Answer the question.
For what I know,
Okay.
Probably the most common thing you're going to be bloated on would be going to be the vegetables that you're eating. You got to change it up, change some different ones. Maybe you're doing too much. Yeah, and then number 2 would be sugar alcohols. That would be the second bloating thing.
I think my chair is slowly sinking.
Let's go to Michelle.
Oh, you.
Michelle, are you there from Georgia?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Sure.
I'm calling because I have thyroid nodules, which is benign, but my thyroid function test is all normal. So the doctor said that I need to go ahead and get them reevaluated every year. So my question is, will it go away on keto and IF? Because I started on Monday, or should I just have it taken out? Because I don't want to have to keep having it checked every year.
Yeah, I got it. Did they check for any type of additional tests like antibodies for autoimmune, like a Hashimoto's? Did they test, or did they just check for basic thyroid panel, like thyroid stimulating hormone and T4, T3?
They did an autoimmune test, but it was only like 17 function tests, but all came back normal.
Okay. All right. So I can't tell you not to get surgery and remove your thyroid or to anything related to medical, but I'm just going to give you my opinion on what I think. I would definitely give keto a chance and IF a chance to see what that can do to your body because of the massive amount of effects, not just for your thyroid, but for the entire body. That's number one. Because if you're not on the program long enough, then you might be taking it out for no reason. Because when you take it out, you can't put it back in. And there's a lot of problems with having the thyroid taken out. So one is that now they're going to have to, how are they going to replace the hormone called calcitonin, which no one even talks about that. The thyroid makes calcitonin. But doctors like, oh, you don't have to worry about that, but wait a second. That regulates calcium and can increase your risk of having osteoporosis down the road. The other thing is sometimes they got to be careful not to damage the parathyroid gland because that's embedded in the thyroid. So how are you going to salvage that? Are they going to make sure they don't damage that? So it's not a real simple thing. So I would get on keto and IF and see if that doesn't help you. Also, you may want to add just a little bit of sea kelp, maybe in the morning, to see if that can't help because anything cyst related, whether it's on the cystic breast, cyst in the ovaries, or cyst on the thyroid, may benefit from a little bit iodine from sea kelp, and I would try that first if I were you. But that's just me. Thanks, Michelle.
Okay.
Yeah.
EF, they have
exogenous ketones.
No. That's another question.
Okay.
Extended fasting, EF. We just call that IF. We just call that intermittent fasting.
Extended fasting.
So that we've been schooled by both YouTube and Facebook. Thank you very much. And
if you're getting bloating with fasting, and you're not eating anything, I would look to stress. I'll give you an example. I knew this guy.
Pay attention,
he was a patient, and every time, his stomach was literally swollen all the time, and the only time it would go down was when he went to Florida and he laid out in the sun. And what happens when you get a lot of sun, your cortisol comes down, the stress comes down, and his stomach literally went flat. So vitamin D is really key, and so is sun, and so is reducing stress for belly fat.
that's great. And I don't know how you got onto that because I was just saying that we were schooled on extended fasting, EF.
I was talking about this person had bloating. Does that make sense? Are you tracking with me?
I don't know how you got there from that, but
well,
you know
the bloating
what? That was good
that was
information.
the question before. That was within the
that
bloating question. See, I was remembering.
That was just, you were still thinking on that one. That's good. Okay, so a couple of questions. You answer this almost every week, but hey, it's a new week. Exogenous ketones.
Yeah, those are ketones that you can buy. There's two types. There's the cheap one and the more, well, not cheap, but it's one that's costs a certain amount, and then there's one that's really expensive, which I got both just to experiment. And I think like you're talking one dose of the high-end one was like $30. So one dose right before you work out. So that's an expensive workout, $30 a workout.
It better do something.
I'll let you taste it.
Did I like it?
No.
I hated it.
It was like
I remember.
it was like
like
jet fuel.
drinking, like gasoline or something.
Yeah,
was
but it helped
really,
your
really-
workout though.
No, I didn't notice anything.
It could have affected your sleep. But here's the thing. Exogenous ketones are really, from my viewpoint, only good for 3 situations. And I'm not saying don't try them, but it kind of defeats the purpose of getting your body in ketosis by doing the diet. And you think it's not going to help you lose weight. It's going to help the brain. If you have brain damage, take it right now. If you have heart damage, take it, because what will happen is it'll bypass the damaged things and feed the cells directly, and you'll feel a really nice change. A less expensive way to do it is to do MCT oil. You can create a similar effect to that. And if you're a professional athlete and you want a little more energy, you can take them. But other than that, I don't recommend them.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. Now, what about keto and IF or foods to avoid if you have venous insufficiency? And maybe you can just explain what that is for people who don't know.
Your veins are insufficient. What else do you want to know about that? Now, that is a classic vitamin D deficiency, Karen. Vitamin D deficiency. And the reason why that's the tip of my tongue is because I'm so deep in these books right now for the summit that I'm like, after the summit, I'm going to be doing a lot of additional videos, little tiny things based on a whole bunch of stuff that I learned, but I don't have a lot of time to do it before that. But
plus, there's stuff you're going to deliver in the summit that you have no videos on. It's all brand new information.
Have I been doing a little bit of work on this, these 2 talks?
Months.
Yeah, because I want it to be awesome, and so you guys are going to like it if you come.
Good. Okay, take a call.
Oh, okay. So let's go to Gunnar from Texas. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
yeah,
perfectly.
Great name.
All right, thank you. So I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a background here. Back in March, I was about 260 pounds, and I went into the doctor for a swollen lip. It was a lip infection, and anyways, they told me I had high blood pressure, and I'm in my early 20s, and that scared me a little bit. So, I started getting really bad anxiety, and I started doing research. I went on to YouTube, and I found y'all, and it was life-changing. I ended up cutting out trans fats. I ended up lowering my sodium below 1,500 milligrams. I also started reducing carbs, sugar, and increasing my potassium. And doing all of that now here in August, I am about 200 pounds, so I've lost 60 pounds. My blood pressure went from what was 150 over like 110. It was some crazy number. It's now down to 120 over 80. And I haven't taken it the past couple of weeks, but I'm almost certain it's gone down. And there's been days where I haven't even exercised, and I'm still losing some weight.
Wow.
So
that's awesome. Well
it was
done.
a life.
Go ahead. What was the last thing you said?
Oh, I was just gonna say thank y'all, because I mean seriously, I've found, even just going to the store and looking at ingredients, that was one of the biggest things I think that changed my life, was just going and looking at those ingredients at the store and realizing what I was putting into my body, and I was more conscious and more aware of that.
That's awesome.
great.
Wow. Thanks
That
so
is
much for
great.
that great success story, Gunnar. That's awesome.
Thank
well
you.
done. You're welcome.
Spread the word.
The thing is, it's one of those things where you have this awareness. Someone shows you something, you have this awareness, and all of a sudden, now you're aware of what you're eating. I mean, even for myself, I can remember when I didn't have a problem, and then I had a problem with my body, and but when I didn't have a problem, I wasn't aware of what I was putting in my body, and I ate so terribly. But that's so great, because there's going to be a couple really amazing, well, quite a few. I mean, okay. 600 success stories that are massive success stories. There's one guy that's coming from Greece. He's an Ironman, did triathlon, and he's like one of the only guys that's keto IF. He ate nothing during this Ironman competition, and all these other guys are like doing 100 carbs an hour, and he passed 400 people up in this race. The last leg, I think it was
running.
bike.
Oh, biking?
I think. He's going to come and he's going to share his success, but that's just like so awesome. I love it. All right, so let's go to Patricia from Connecticut. Are you there?
Yes, hello.
Hello.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is, I did sign up for your membership, and I really enjoy all the videos. And I was interested in the toning videos. You gave a lot of examples. I'm not quite sure how many reps to do, or do you do them all, and how often? So I don't know if you had any advice on that.
Sure. What I would recommend, there's a whole bunch of exercises that you can do on that platform. If you're over the age of 35 or let's say 40 and you're in that zone where your recovery might not be that great, and I did a video on this, I would recommend doing, as far as different frequencies, like I would do twice a week and then graduate up to 3 times a week. But twice a week seems to be really good, and make sure those workouts are not overtraining. Like you do enough so you're sore, and that could be range between 20 and 40 minutes. I like that time frame, and keep the intensity kind of high as far as the intensity and then the week type pattern. And then within the workout, I think that you should pick 3 or 4 exercises and do them repeatedly, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Not like try to work on 10 different muscles in one workout, because you're not going to see that much change. So narrow it down to maybe 3 muscles, and then the other workout do the opposite 3 muscles, and you can rotate it back and forth. But I think you should just search out my video on YouTube on that. It's like, I think it's called The Pattern of Exercise, and that will give you the breakdown and nitty-gritty on that. But if you can't find it, email us at drberg@drberg.com. Thanks for calling.
Hey, I wanted to say, Carrie Corda Anderson, she's on Facebook. Dr. Berg, I've lost 96 pounds since starting my keto journey, and I watch your videos religiously. My whole family does keto now. We have cumulatively lost over 400 pounds.
That's so fantastic.
Isn't that amazing?
I love it.
I'm supposed to ring the bell. It's way over here. I mean, that's just,
Isn't it amazing?
It's because people get the data and they apply the data.
And the right information.
The healthy keto data, obviously.
There's in the past,
400 pounds.
I didn't have all the data. And I keep searching for better ways to do things, and it keeps improving. But back when I was starting out, it wasn't as great as it is now. That's for sure. Because I reflected back. There was this one girl that I worked at a long time ago that just didn't get the results, and I felt so bad because she was over 300 pounds. And so about a year ago, I was thinking of her, and I just called her up because she's local. And I said, "Listen, why don't you come by the office, and I want to show you a new way to do this," right? So she said, "Oh, absolutely." So she came by. I kind of I gave her the correct information, and I said, "Now, this thing, you just need to apply it." And she, maybe a few phone calls to follow up, that type of thing. She watched a lot of videos. Well, I didn't hear from her for a while, and she was doing good. But then, like last week, she told me, I was going to surprise you because she's coming to the summit.
Oh,
But she lost 80 pounds. 80 pounds.
That was a 96 or something.
80 pounds, Karen.
80 pounds. Still,
so
it's a huge amount.
The thing is, like, she's going to be there.
Person.
And I am going to have her stand up. I'm going to show her before and after. But, that's like just mind-blowing.
That's amazing.
And everyone's looking at her like, what happened to you? So it's changed her entire life. And she was willing to change.
Yeah.
On that note, Carol, I need to go to Carol from Virginia.
Oh, it's 12.
Are you there, Carol?
I am. First of all, I want to thank you for all this wonderful information that you're disseminating everywhere. So my question is, my husband is 69. He's had a heart attack and a bypass and a stent. He's just started having chest pains again, and we took him in to do an angiogram, and it showed everything's clogged. He's a walking time bomb. So we need to lose weight really, really fast. He does. And he's 6 feet, 230 32 now. He's lost 10 pounds over 3 months. So my question is, how can I tweak it better? We're trying to keep the grams under 75, which is super hard. So do I just not cook the salmon in butter? Because basically we're just following your meal plans, but we're restricting even more, and we're just having like 2 eggs for breakfast and big salads and salmon for lunch and supper. So to keep the grams underneath 75, it seems like I have to quit cooking the eggs in butter or oil, and just try to do, cook the things in no oil so that I can leave the fat for the salmon, because basically we're just eating fish.
Yeah.
Because we don't do well on the others.
Honestly, for something like this, all the really key good things are in the fat. I wouldn't necessarily try to stay within that 75. That wouldn't be the thing I would focus on, even though I know probably the cardiologist is like, oh, go low fat, low fat. If you could by chance come to the summit, which is right down the street from you in Maryland, come next week, because there's 2 cardiologists that are going to be there. They're going to talk about this exact thing. You can meet them and talk to them, bring your husband as well. But the thing that he needs to do, the most important thing is to keep the carbs down, because it's really the carbs that convert to the plaquing and the cholesterol and that whole thing. That is the big problem right there, is the carbs. So if he can keep his carbs down, do the fish, don't worry about the fish fat, don't worry about a little butter, keep the vegetables high, do that, do some pretty strict intermittent fasting, and I'm talking like
get rid of breakfast.
Once a day, and then maybe even once every other day right now. That's what I'd probably go with, and I would...
Eating, or not fasting, eating once a day.
I would eat once every other day. I would work up to that if you can do that. That's going to be huge for repair of the heart. But there's a couple really important things that you should focus on with the heart directly. You need a very high quality vitamin E. And I'm talking about the one with the tocotrienols and the tocopherols together. It's a whole complex. Do not just get tocopherols. Get the whole complex vitamin E. Take that for one. The second thing that you need to do is vitamin K2. Very, very, very important. You can also take coenzyme Q10, go for long walks. But there's one more thing that I think is the icing on the cake, without the cake. He needs MCT oil. Now you're going, well, wait a second. Won't that add more fat and more weight? No. What that's going to do, it's going to bypass his damaged heart and feed the heart what those medium chain triglycerides. The heart will suck it up and it'll run on those things really efficiently. So anything damaged with the heart, you want to give it a little more ketones, because what's feeding that heart is whatever's in his blood. He may have ketones in there, but he may have insulin resistance, which is not getting enough into the heart. So to repair the heart, you can do exogenous ketones, you can do that, and or MCT oil. I would totally do that. Normal dose, nothing extra, so he doesn't have diarrhea, and then come to the summit. Okay? All right, Karen. I pretty much ran out of information this week. Next week, guys, we're going to be doing this on Thursday, because Friday it's going to be a little bit busy. Thursday morning. Because Friday we're going to do the meeting with the summit.
I'm busy Thursday morning. I have things.
Can you do it Thursday morning?
We'll talk about it. We don't have to talk about it right now.
We may be doing it Wednesday morning.
But Wednesday morning might be better. But I need to give a shout out for all the people that are sponsors and exhibitors for the summit.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, because it's going to be awesome this year. We have Keto Mojo, Kibosh Foods, U.S. Wellness Meats, Love Good Fats, Choco Perfection, the Ketogenic Baking Company, Redmond Salt, Select Savory Seasonings, Guilt-Free Goodies, Keto Fast Tea, Adapt Your Life are all going to be exhibitors there. And then we have sponsors, Bragg, Bragg, and a company called Kettle and Fire. And you're going to be able to experience those, and they're sponsors of the summit. They're not going to have a table, which is why I left it last.
All
but
right.
It's going to be hot. It's going to be a great time. You definitely want to go to drberg.com and get
the cutoff date is this Monday. You cannot buy a ticket if you get on Tuesday. So you have until Monday to buy your tickets, or else
you miss out.
You miss
and
out.
You don't want to miss out. It's going to be top of the line information, and you know, anybody that gets a VIP ticket will have access to the meet and greet and to the Saturday evening buffet where all the speakers are going to be. So you're going to be able to have more access than the general ticket buyer, but the whole thing is going to be outstanding.
Awesome. On that note, have a wonderful weekend.
Yep.
We'll see you next week, either Wednesday or possibly Thursday, but we'll talk.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.
Okay.